And Mario, just make sure that if anybody
Okay.
calls and you just restart it and stuff, please. We'll go ahead and get started. So again, yes, everybody, my name is Philippe Lundstedt. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. If we can mute our phones, that would be fantastic. Just because it's a disturbance to others, it's not really a disturbance to me. But if we can mute our phones just so it doesn't go off, and we typically have our ringers really loud. Some people have that like crazy ring that's like a car horn. You know, so we'll keep that going. We have donuts right up here up front. If anybody wants a donut, please help yourself. A little bit of sugar, never hurt anybody, right? Just a little bit, not a lot. That's why I got the munchkins. That way you don't have to divulge on the whole donut. You can just have a bite of a donut and feel perfectly wonderful, right? So try to keep that for you guys as well. I try to keep this within an hour, this seminar. It could go longer. It really depends on the questions you have and how much you want to engage. He's been to one of my meetings before. They can go long. It depends on how much you really want to go into these things.
I may say what you told everyone is absolutely true from the meeting I went to. You're here to inform, very helpful, answering questions.
Yep.
And it's hard to forget Philippe with an F.
Yeah, it's hard to forget Philippe with an F, right?
Is he your broker?
No.
He didn't do business. Not everybody does business with me, but that's okay.
Because Philippe gave the talk for Aetna, and what it came down to, how much, just be.
You're fine. Yes,
I do
please.
medications that are covered under different tiers.
Yeah.
So that sometimes is a big thing to consider.
It is, and that's a big reason that when I do a lot of these meetings, I like to do educational things. And the reason I like to do educational things, and I'm letting you know my purpose today is disrupt you. I'm here to disrupt your thought process. Because most people, they have a thought process that isn't correct, because it's what you've been told. It's what you've been told by the news, which knows nothing about insurance. It's been what you're told by the government, which they know nothing about insurance. I give you perfect examples of that. You got Rick Scott and Joe Biden arguing about something that does not exist. And they made it up. They made up, Medicare's going out of business. The both of them. Medicare's going out of business, right? But what people didn't know is Medicare got a raise. So explain to me how Medicare's going out of business so it gets a raise. How does that happen? Right? It doesn't. It was a threat because what happened? Primaries, right? They had the midterm elections. And they were pushing an agenda so people would be like, the Democrats are getting rid of Medicare. The Republicans are getting rid of Medicare. I don't care your political affiliation. I care about the truth. And both of them are lying. So it's important to get the truth. And that's my essential idea today, is disrupt some of the things that maybe you think are going on, and they're not, or really open up access to some new ideas and some new strategies for you, okay? So essentially I've been doing, like I told you guys before, I've been doing this for 19 years. I love doing what I do. I've been very, very blessed to do it. I'm known as the insurance guru, and it's really because I'm going to show you things that the insurance companies, they don't want you to see. I'm going to make sure you get the biggest bang for your buck and you really get all of the juice from your benefits. Because most people don't. Either you're on a plan because of the idea of a plan and you're not utilizing the value of the plan, which means it has no value. Does everybody understand that? If you have a bright red Ferrari that sits in your garage and you never drive it, what's the value of it? What'd you get it for? You're supposed to drive it, right? Or if you got a loaf of bread and you left it on the counter, you said, don't eat that, we're holding on to that. 3 months go by, no, hold on to that bread. What's the value of the bread if you can't eat it? Does bread have any value if you can't eat it? It's good to look at. You smell it, is it going to fill you? It doesn't. You have to utilize what you have. And if you have an insurance policy just because it looks pretty, I'm not here to tell you what your values should be. There is a value that I can't argue with, and it's the peace of mind value. Some people have peace of mind for the craziest things, right? We all have our vices, and some people find peace of mind in doing the oddest things. So I can't argue that way. But when it comes down to logic and rational thinking of, hey, I take these prescriptions and see these doctors, therefore I need to be on this program because it caters to those things. But if you come to me and say, yeah, I see this doctor, but I hate him. I hate this doctor. This doctor's terrible. But I need to have this insurance program so I can see him. We've got a problem. Why do you want to pick a program that gives you access to a doctor you don't like? What's the value of the doctor? Why wouldn't we just find another doctor? And you don't have to change your insurance. We just change your doctor. And then if that doctor that you want to change to doesn't take that insurance, then maybe we change your insurance. You see what I just said? It's called talking yourself out of a sale. Most people say you never do that in sales, Philippe. Never do it. So I'm not in sales. I'm in service. I'm here to help. Right? And I can't tell you how many times I sit with clients and I look at what they're going through and I go, you have a doctor problem. You don't have an insurance problem. You know how many people do that in my industry? None. None. Because we don't get paid if you go to a different doctor. That doesn't do anything for us. I make money if you do business with me. And I make money every single month. Did you know that? Did you know that your broker, your agent, is making an income every single month off of your policy? Every month. How many cards do you get from your broker? How many times does he come and visit you? How many times does he call you and say, hey, are you okay? Is everything good? And when you have problems, are you calling a 1-800 number or are you calling your broker? Who are you calling? How does that work? If you have a grievance, an appeal, a formulary exception, a tiering exception, do we even know what those are? We know what those are, everybody, right? A grievance is what? When you're unhappy with a service, you're unhappy with a doctor, you're unhappy with a facility, you're unhappy with how clean it was or how they spoke to you, how they treated you, that's called a grievance. And what's an appeal? An appeal is when you're unhappy with a bill or a price or a service that was charged to you that you don't feel was charged unjust. And how do you use the two together? Or do you even use the two together, do you know? And what's the process of doing the paperwork? Where do you do it? How do you do it? Do you electronically, over the phone, written, in blood? How do you do it? You should know. Or at least your broker should be there and saying, don't worry about it. Whenever you have to do one, you're going to call me and I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to walk you through the process. And if I can't do it, I have a team of people that can. And why? Because I build infrastructure. Why do I build infrastructure in my company? Because I'm a real company. That's why. You got a lot of agencies like, yeah, we're a company, and then you call them, they have no secretary, they have no system, they have no CRM, they have no email capabilities, they do nothing, and they're not even registered. You know how many agencies in the state of Florida don't even have their LLC? If I was a recruiter person, has anybody ever heard this before? If an LLC is outdated, I can buy the LLC, and I can own the name. And then I can go to the agency and say, you are in breach of contract, I own your name. You need to change your name, or you can buy the name from me. I could do this as a business model, but I choose not to because I got in this business. Actually, I started my business because I wanted to help agencies. I wanted to help brokers. So I can't tell you how many times I walk up to agencies and I'm like, hey man, I just looked you up. Your domain it's expired. Someone can buy your company from underneath it. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, well, you don't have an accountant? Yeah, I use H&R Block. So you're a business owner and you're filing personal taxes as a single entity? How does that even, you guys understand that that's crazy? Someone runs their business like that, and that's who you're underneath. But you think, hey, I'm actually underneath Aetna, I'm actually underneath United Healthcare, I'm actually underneath Humana. But you don't want to rely on that 1-800 number. Who do you think gets paid a lot at Humana and what makes them professional? The guys that answer the 1-800 numbers, or the executives and the directors and the managers? Who's making all the money? Those guys. So when you call a 1-800 number, you're getting mediocre at best. Mediocre at best. Some numbers are better than others, but realistically, your agent is where you should be filtering all your questions and everything, or your agent or your broker, one or the other, right? So that's a really super important thing to understand, that that person holds the keys to everything, okay? Because there are three major pillars that I look at, and I'll hand this out to everybody. There are three major pillars that I look at when I'm dealing with. Thank you, Martin. You'll see it, 3 pillars of success. I leave it blank in case you want to fill it out. I'm a firm believer in science. If anybody doesn't believe in science, we're going to have a hard time getting along. I do believe in science. I'm also faithful, but I do believe in science. And there are certain things that you just can't argue. And there are 3 major things that you need to look at when you're picking any kind of insurance. Any kind of insurance. And the first thing you really want to look at is the company you're doing business with. Super important. You have to understand the company that you're doing business with. I can't tell you how many times people have gotten a new insurance company and find out that the CEO made a $45 million bonus and they're disgusted. And it's all they can talk about. Oh, my insurance and my insurance. You think, well, that wouldn't bother me, but it bothers people. The color of an insurance company bothers people. You don't think so? Oh yeah. You ever met anybody that said, I don't like the color green? Or I hate the color blue? I'm sure you have. Everybody has. Okay? That's how it works. Red. I don't wear red. Red's not for me. Red is dead. I don't wear red. You won't see red on barely any of my things, unless it's from another company. And I always try to find a moniker that they use that isn't red, because I'm not a fan of red. So for me, I don't like red stuff. Okay? I don't have State Farm. You want to know why? Because it's red. I don't like red. I'm not even kidding you. I have a hard time going to Rudy Moore's mastermind because he loves red. His name is Rudy Red. He's a big marketer. I belong to his mastermind. And he wears all red and like irks me because I wear all blue. I'm a blue guy. I like blue. If you couldn't tell, I wear a lot of blue. Blue and brown. Blue socks, blue jewelry, blue ring. I like blue. It's a good color for me. Okay? Great color, right? Look at this. Guy's wearing blue. You're wearing blue. You're wearing. You gotta You gotta go. It's terracotta. We'll call it terracotta for the day, right?
Okay.
Okay, there we go. We got terracotta for the day. My point is, the company, it comes into play. The bigger part of the company is the culture. What's the culture of the company? Are they donating to the charities that you're aligned with? Are they donating to the political parties that you're aligned with? Because I have plenty of clients that won't do business with United Healthcare. You want to know why? Who's in cahoots with United Healthcare for marketing? AARP. And is AARP political? Oh yeah, very. So there are people that are anti-AARP, so anti-AARP that they could not even fathom the idea of getting a letter in the mail that said, "Thank you for your membership, United Healthcare, AARP." They were like, "I'm not a member of AARP." And I said, "No, you're not. You're a member of Medicare Advantage." "I can't handle it. They got AARP. You got to get rid of that." I said, "I'd love to, but I'm pretty powerful. I don't think United Healthcare is going to sever a marketing relationship with AARP because of ruffling some feathers. They're just not, right?" Which, believe it or not, that actually causes a lot of problems for them. And I've told them a number of times, you got to, I don't know why you guys affiliated with that. I understand that they're a great organization for seniors, but because you're alienating a certain amount of people when you're in sales, right? And I don't think you should alienate anybody when you're in sales. You should involve everybody, right? So I know some people that have issue with that. Some people have issue with Humana, right? I happen to love Humana. I think Humana is a great policy. But I've heard from people and clients that said, "Humana killed my mother." Wow, really? Humana killed your mother? They hired a hitman, they came to your house and they killed your mom? No, what happened was they couldn't get this approved, they couldn't get that approved, and they died from this cancer, and it was this sickness, and it could have been avoided if it just had been approved. I said, "Okay, so you think Humana didn't approve that, or the hospital didn't approve it, or the doctor didn't approve it?" "Well, I don't know." "Well, why don't you know?" "Well, I don't know, I was so busy and had all this stuff going on, and no one was there, and I do everything on my own." "Ah, I see. You do everything on your own." Right? Who's ever heard of teamwork makes the dream work? You ever heard that before? You ever heard of teamwork? Right? Sometime in your life you've heard that teamwork is the way to get things done, right? It takes a village. There is no I in team. There are a lot of little anecdotes that can be said about how powerful it is to have a group of people working towards the same mission or vision. That's why I have a team. That's why I align with other people. That's why I meet with the insurance companies all the time, because I want to get to know what their mission, what their vision is locally. I don't really care what everyone wants to do nationally. It doesn't bother me. What I want to know is what they're doing in Pasco, what they're doing in Hillsborough, what they're doing in Florida. Because that's my area for when I'm talking to you. Do you care about what's going on in Michigan? Please don't tell me you live in Michigan too, right? You live here, right? I just threw that state out there, but no, right? You don't care what Michigan's insurance plans are. Some people, they really do. They're like, "Well, what about Massachusetts?" I say, "You live in Massachusetts?" "No." "What does it matter?" "I just want to know." "Okay, I'll let you know." You know what I mean? But in Florida, that's what I'm concerned with. And that's what we talk about, the plans that actually matter to you here. Because every state is going to have different stuff, okay? You have a family member that lives in New York and they're on Blue Cross Blue Shield. They're like, "It's the best thing ever. You should get this." But in Florida, is it called Blue Cross Blue Shield? No, it's called Florida Blue. And why? Do you know that Blue Cross Blue Shield is the only fraternal insurance company left in the United States? By fraternal, I mean like a fraternity. There's a main hub that makes rules, okay? And then they sell franchised corporations out. So there's Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, Florida Blue, California Blue. There's all these different blues. And they're all fraternal. None of them are the same. All the CEOs are different, all the executive structure is different, it's all very, very different. Florida Blue does not compete. Like Blue Cross Blue Shield New York, oh my gosh, that thing is like bulletproof, right? But down here, no way. Michigan, wow, of course. But why? Why is Blue Cross strong in Michigan? USAW, all the car companies, they have them all. So they own the group insurance, so they're taking in tons of money so they can spend that on other products. That's how this business works. So the company matters, because does the company make a lot of money or does it not make a lot of money? Big company, small company. Why does it matter? You need to know these things. If you're a big company and you're not making money, why are you not making money? Well, maybe you invested all your money in brick and mortar, and how's that going today? Not so much, because everybody's going virtual, right? But if you guys know anything about real estate, if I sign a lease and it's triple net, what does that mean? It means I'm responsible for 5 years for all the bills and everything, and I'm in a legal contract. Now imagine you're an insurance company and you have 3,000 brick and mortar offices nationwide, and you're in triple net leases, you don't own the property. That's what I mean. These insurance companies are not smart enough to buy the property like McDonald's, right? McDonald's is not a hamburger company, it's a real estate company. Everybody know that? That's where they make their money, is on the real estate, because they own the property that they're on. 90% of the properties they own, and then lease out to the owners, they make their money that way. It's not by making burgers. Same thing with insurance companies. Not only do they lease out their networks, they lease property, which is stupid. So now you got all this brick and mortar, you got a company that's losing money because they got to pay for all this rent that's useless. And you got another company that said, well, we couldn't afford to get all the brick and mortar. Thank goodness we didn't, because COVID hit, and all the rates went way up, and then nobody could go into work. And then we had to build this whole structure and system to go completely virtual, and we found out, wow, this is a huge money saver. So we all went that way. But maybe you don't like that. Maybe the company is too virtual. Maybe the company is too digital. Maybe the company is like, you have to get this website, you gotta do this, and you're like, I don't even use the internet. Is that company gonna be a good match for you? Nope. You guys see where I'm going with company here? There are so many things that you need to understand about the company to kind of match team. Second thing is the plan. That's the second pillar, is the plan that you choose. The plan that you choose is really important. HMO, PPO, private fee for service, Medicare supplement. Are you not on Medicare yet and you need what's called a bridge product? You need something to take you from 62 to 65 or from 64 to 65. Maybe you're paying for COBRA right now and you're getting killed by COBRA, paying $1,400 a month. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna stay on this. Can't wait to get on Medicare. There are solutions to that if that's your situation. Is everybody here on Medicare, by the way? Who's not on Medicare? Okay, not on Medicare. What do you guys do? COBRA, individual pay?
Individual pay, 62.
Congratulations.
So,
Almost
still got
there.
a couple more years.
So he's the guy 62, so I'm just gonna hold on. Until I get there. Perfect. We can talk about that later as well. I can talk about those things, yeah. On net, okay. Fully, are you through the marketplace or?
Retirement plan.
Retirement plan, nice, okay, great.
Marketplace.
Marketplace.
64.
64, hold on, I got it, you're almost there.
Yep.
You're almost there.
Here.
There it is. So some people qualify for marketplace if you're paying, if you're not getting tax credits, I can teach you how to do that, right? Because you can hide money from the government, by the way. You just write it off, start a company real quick, cost you $500, start a company, just pay yourself a salary, get your tax credits. You guys know that? I get that done for you in like probably 48 hours. If anybody wants to do it, let me know. 48 hours, I get you on Obamacare, easy. So if you ever make too much money, you go to the casino and you win a bunch of money, let me know. Start a business, put that money in the business, pay yourself a salary, you get your Obamacare credits. Easy peasy. I do it all the time for some people. If they're on like a borderline, I'll do it. If someone's making like 200 grand, I'm like, listen, you just did really good. There's no hiding this, right? You know what I mean? So really depends on what you're doing, but plan matters. What kind of plan you're choosing, if it's a bridge product, if it's a Medicare product, is it an HMO, is it a PPO, is it servicing your needs, is it a group product, a retiree product, how's that gonna look like when you hit 65, things of that nature. Those are all important questions to ask yourself. The plans that you're choosing, are you choosing an HSA? Are you choosing an indemnity product? Are you choosing dental, right? These are all plans that exist. If you guys know what those are, HSAs, right? You know you can get those, right? There's another one called an HMA, which is similar to an HSA, just better because it matches dollars rather than doing the tax-free thing. It literally doubles your money in an HMA. So it's very, very cool stuff. Indemnity products, those are great. That's like Aflac. Everybody's seen Aflac before? Quack, quack, right? You ever wonder what that is? It's a bet. It's like going to a casino. What you're saying is here, I bet you I'm gonna break my arm. And the insurance company says, I don't think you're gonna break your arm. You say, I bet you, I'm gonna pay you this premium every month. That's my bet. And that insurance company says, okay, I'll take that bet. I'm gonna take your premium, and if you break your arm, like you say you're going to, I'll give you $1,000. You break your arm, Aflac, $1,000, right? Why? Because you won the bet. Make sense? It's like walking in a casino and saying black 23. That's what it's going to land on. If it doesn't land on it, what do? They take your bet. And then you say, oh, I'm going to bet it again. You take it again. And you bet it again. You take it again. You bet it again. And boom, you slip, you fall, break the arm, you win, and you make the money. There are what's called flex indemnity products that will pay you for everything you do. If you get one of these when you're healthy, they can really service as you go through Medicare. They can. I'm not saying that you need to do this. I'm not saying that you should do this. I'm saying that I do this with people as a strategy. There are multiple strategies you can use. Indemnity policies are policies that will pay you for day one in the hospital, and they give you like $6,000 a day you're in the hospital, okay? So if you have an indemnity policy, I'm just giving you a basic example here. I'm not saying for anybody to do this. Remember, this is educational. I'm not selling anything here. If you want to have another appointment with me, you can, but I'm not selling anything here. And on indemnity policy, if you go to the hospital, you get a $9,000 upfront kicker, okay? So they pay you $9,000 because you went to the emergency room. Every day you're in the hospital, they give you $6,000 for every day you're in the hospital. up to 20 days. Does anybody know that math? 6 times 20, $120,000, okay? If you're on a Medicare program, which you are, your max out of pocket, your maximum out of pocket, which means the most you can ever be financially responsible for, is between $1,200 and $5,500 for in-network services. The highest you're gonna see is $5,500, the lowest you're gonna see is $1,200. So you tell me, if you have an indemnity policy, you go to the hospital, and you're there for 5 days, right? You get 9,000 plus the 6, that's 15, then you get 6, right? Another 24 and 15, $39,000. $39,000 check, right? And then your Medicare is what? You're maxed out of pocket. For 1 day in the hospital, what are you paying on Medicare? 2 days in the hospital, 3 days in the hospital, what are you paying on Medicare max? $900. Max, because the highest is $295 per day in the hospital, right? $295 per day in the hospital. Times that by 3, let's just round up to 300, that's $900. You pay $900, and the insurance company, the other insurance company, gives you $39,000. I mean, are you winning? What do you think? Are you winning? And as a senior, do you think, what are the odds of you going to the hospital? What are the odds of me going to the hospital? You want to know? It's 1 out of every 36 months I will end up in an ER, urgent care, or hospital. That's what the research shows. You know what it shows for a senior? 18 months. So it cuts it in half. I'm just realistic. You think I'm, who knows anybody that's been to the hospital as a senior? Or goes to the doctor, right? I love this one. I never had to go to the doctor ever until I got on Medicare, and now I have to go to the doctor all the time. It's because of Medicare that all this stuff happens to me. It's not. What happens is most people don't go to doctors from 40 to 65. And then all of a sudden they turn 65 and they get preventative services because they get on Medicare and they get 4 tests and they're like, oh my gosh, they found all this stuff. It's like, yeah, because you weren't looking for it before. But if that stuff happens, that's why there's so many visits. It increases there because there is a era of neglect that happens between 40 and 65. Especially in men. Men are the worst with that. I can't tell you how many times I hear from clients, 70 years old, Philippe, don't